Hello, everybody, and welcome to our third episode of Congratulations, 47th President, Dr. Cornel West. This podcast talks about who we think is going to be the next president of the United States. Our own, well, not our own, but activists. The comments are in the section today. And please note, normally when I do a podcast, I talk about my site and support me. It's all about Dr. West today. So when I put up a link, it's going to lead right back to this page. So just so you know. So I am actually joined today by the co-moderator. She moderates with me on the Women for Cornel West group. And I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we'll get started.
Okay, my name is Robin, and I guess I'm the co-moderator for the Cornel West Women's Group. And Tracy thought I might have some things to say that are, I guess, interesting. Anyway, I'm a Cornel West supporter. I think he's our only option. There's no option out there, and I've been a supporter of his, or been following him since about 2012 when he was doing the poverty tour with Tava Smiley. Before that, I read some of what he did, but he is just like a truth teller. And you want me to tell me what I? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, you go right ahead.
Okay. Well, I am not political, except that I'm a fellow citizen. An artist. I'm a former art teacher for children, and I'm involved in my local politics right now, trying to take down corruption.
That's the point. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna start off by just doing this site right here. You're gonna see it a whole lot. Go to CornelWest2024.com. That's where you learn how to donate. That's where you get to volunteer. That's where you learn about the platform. Everything is at that website. Pretty much you're going to see this website pop up the most. But just know that Cornel West 2024 is where you want to go to learn more about the campaign. Of course, if you want to volunteer, same website, but follow the volunteer link. If you have $2, $3, $4, $5, not a whole lot, you can make a donation. I just actually made mine, or going to make mine today. So same website, /donate. And to learn about the platform, which we're going to talk a lot about today, go to the same website, /platform. So like I said, you're going to see Cornel West 2024 pop up all through this podcast. This is not about my podcast, so you won't see anything from me. You'll just see CornelWest2024.com. We'll interject with some questions. So, first question, and I'll kind of conversate with you just to make sure this stays a conversation. Talk about you said something that was really jarring to me, and I didn't even. Oh, hold on a second. Hello, Parker. You said that Dr. West is our only choice. Why do you feel that way?
Well, it's because of his platform. It is because of his stance. He's the only one out there calling what's happening in Israel genocide. He calls it apartheid. He is the only one talking about our history as truth. We've gotten so, people have become, it's become normalized to be lied to be, both parties. They're just, they're part of, as he puts it, a duopoly. an oligarchy that does not serve regular people. It serves only those in power, those who have money, those who make weapons, those who profit from war and people suffering. And
Exactly.
so
Like,
he's been doing it for 41 years. I mean, he's been like constant. He walks his talk. Sorry.
yeah, no,
And
that's okay. You keep going, and I think, that's the way I feel, and I get a whole lot of, well, either Trump or, and we're gonna tell you now, we're gonna slam on Joe Biden this today. I'm telling you right now, just get ready for it because I'm going off today
please.
because you mentioned Palestine, and I can't even believe he's not even calling for a ceasefire. Something
No,
to me that just makes the most common sense. It just makes sense. And he's like, no, just kill all the Palestinians. That's fine. I mean, he's not literally saying kill all the Palestinians, but his
well, they're
actions,
providing weapons and support. Yeah. So,
exactly. His
well,
support is saying that. And so now here comes my second question. So you talked about why you do support Dr. West. And we're gonna get into the $3,300 donation, which I'm still like, let me tell y'all now, if that was me, I would have took it and told everybody, you
me
can
too.
kiss my behind. You cannot buy influence for $3,300. I'm like, okay, say this again. What are you? 10,000? Okay, I probably would have had a problem with 10. Anything above 10,000, you got me. But
These
when
guys are giving millions. There's dark money out there, and they're getting millions. They have PACs. I just found out about a PAC called the Realtor PAC, a Realtor Party. They actually vet um, politicians and make sure that they're going to be on their side, that they're going to like not make any policies about affordable housing, or they're going to let them get away with all the raising rents, and they will let developers just do whatever they want.
yeah, and I think that's what agitates me because I was watching The Hill and Brianna Joy, who I normally like, she's like, well, he should have been slammed for that. I'm like, no, he shouldn't have. It's $3,300. You can't buy a car, a house. What can you literally buy? You can barely, if you have a lot of medical issues like me, you can't buy medicine because the by the time I'm just like, I think what the left wants is like this perfect candidate, and I'm like, there's only one person in my mind that fits what they want. I call him Jesus. That's who I call him. He not running. See, he's not running. Dr. West is running. And I'm not comparing the two. Trust me and believe I'm not.
Believe me, they would treat Jesus
Say worse. He
right.
won't attack them. He won't say they're evil. He
Yeah,
won't.
yeah,
Nah. See, you not. I'm just like $3,300.
yeah.
Meanwhile, Trump is out here taking dark money. Kennedy is taking dark money. Um,
Joe
who,
Biden.
yeah, and I feel like, okay, it came from Harlan Crow. He's a white supremacist.
Mhm.
Oh well, if you want to, as a white supremacist, give me as a black person, yep, I'm gonna use it against you. I sure am. What? What's your next question? What's your next question? I just, and it took you to calm me down because at first I was mad, and then when you said, I'm like, that's exactly right. Why am I getting mad about this?
Well, the thing is also, Dr. West isn't looking at all of his donations that are coming in as, he's busy.
Yeah,
He's
doing the campaign.
he's
Like it's like sitting there like, now Tracy, she donated $50 and
yeah,
when Robin donated 25. He not doing.
yeah. So yeah, he returned it because of the pressure, but it's ridiculous. All of the things that they go after him for are ridiculous because they are completely corrupt, and then they are going after small things.
Really small things. And then the like I said, the elephant in the room, because I kept wondering, why is Joe Biden against Medicare for all? That's my number one issue. Everybody who watches my podcast knows Medicare for all is my number one not a doubt about it issue. And I kept saying, well, why is Joe Biden against it? Well, I went to what's that website where open secrets or dark secrets, whatever that website is. I went to it and I'm looking at who donates. I'm like millions. I'm sitting there thinking the limit is 3,300. I didn't like, where does dark money even come from? Like, where does it? I'm like, if the limit is 3,300, but that's an individual, so they get these packs together and then they're allowed to get. I'm like, the whole thing is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't even. I just, if it were me, I'd have took it, said bye, see you. The common person is not there like, he took $3,300. I can't vote for him. Nope, I'm not gonna vote for him because he took $3,300 from Harlan Crow. If I asked my brother who is Harlan Crow, he would be like, I don't know.
I didn't know. I don't know. I don't
mean,
know much about it. It's just distraction. That's all. That's what they want to do. They want to focus on something and distract people and keep them away from looking at who Joe Biden is and the Democratic Party are. They have completely, since the 80s, thrown workers and poor people under the bus.
Exactly.
They're in bed with the same people that the Republicans are in bed with, and you cannot sugarcoat them.
Yeah, and people say, oh, they're not the same. And I'm like, well, you have one party, because here's what I'll say about the Republican Party. They tell me exactly who they are.
Exactly.
I don't have to sit here and worry about it. I don't have to sit here and think, well, wonder what they say. They tell me. The Democrats will sit here and give you
what you want to hear.
Exactly. And then when they get to office, well, we can't. Now is not the time. That's the other one. Okay, so I just jumped.
I call the Republicans the stab you in the front party and the Democrats the stab you in the back party. They both rely on each other.
Now, Parker's saying he thinks it's bad to take the money. I'm going to have to disagree with you, Parker. I say take it, use it. If he dumb enough, now that's my opinion. You have a different one, but
I think he gave it back, Parker. I think.
Yeah, he did give it back, but it was like he was
under.
Yeah, like the common, like I said, the common person. Let me run for office. You white supremacists want to give me a black. Yes, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it. I don't care what you think about it. I don't care if you like it. I can bend over and I can tell you what you can do. See, that's just me. That's why I won't run for office, everybody. That's why I won't run for office, because I have no problem.
We need people like you.
No, we don't.
Involved running for office. I just went to my small town city council, and it's amazing how corrupt they are.
It's corruption. It's like the townships are corrupt. The city council's corrupt. The state house is. I'm like, where does it end? Oh my gosh!
Most people aren't even voting for these small town people because they just don't care. They know. They just don't. They've just been told it's normal, and they've become apathetic. And that's what we need to do. We need to have small people like us to speak up, to go to meetings, to go make some noise, to get our voices out there as any way we can.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because I think that's what Dr. West embodies. He wants to get people, involved in their local, state, federal, he wants to get people activated. And I think that's what I appreciate the most about his campaign. And another thing that I really greatly appreciate is his platform. Mm-hmm. His platform is the most pro-Black platform I have ever read in my entire life. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Unapologetically, he doesn't
apologize for being Black. And that's what I, as a Black, I know you're not black, but since I am, since I am, I appreciate that because he does not. I feel like Democratic politicians are always apologizing for being black, and I'm like, why are you apologizing? Um,
You know that what was obscene is politicians allowing Joe Biden to go into Martin Luther King's church and lie about being an activist and
oh
lie
my god,
and just smile, and nobody called him out.
this is why I don't like politicians coming into churches. The
Yeah.
church I go to does, and I'm just like, this is. They know they're lying. They just. This is the house of worship. Like,
Mm-hmm.
at least tell the truth there. Oh my gosh. See, you got
But
me on something else, and I don't want to get deterred, but I'm like,
yeah,
dude,
that's
you're.
what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a pathological liar. This guy, you know,
He does. He
is
lies about the stupidest thing. Like, Trump is a liar. We know that every time. But
they both.
Biden lies about, like, the stupidest. I got arrested with Nelson Mandela. You did what?
Yeah, yeah. And at least Andrew Young called him out on that at that time.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, and I think the
But
lies
he
that.
just keeps doing it because people accept it. They are okay with it. And then they have these historians like Heather Cox Richardson, who, Letters to an American, who basically completely launder everything about Joe Biden, launder everything about the Democratic Party, and then they give it to the neoliberals who want to believe.
And
Become
that's, yeah, and that's, I think that's what third parties are saying. I've always been majority of my voting history. I've always supported third party candidates. Yes, there were a couple of Democrats in there. Hate to say this, but I bought. I think Hillary Clinton was like the last, and I said I'm going back to independent because
yeah.
when you say to people, like when I talk to people about the West campaign, and I'm voting for Dr. West, well, you're going to get, and we're going to definitely talk about this one. The thing I hear the most is if you vote for Dr. West, you're voting for Trump. And I always say, how can you? That isn't. And one guy on Pod Save America, which is probably one of the worst podcasts I've. That's like a DNC podcast
Mhm.
Central.
Complete
Um,
propaganda.
yeah, I can't stand that podcast. He's like, it's a fact. No, it's not. If I wanted to vote for Donald Trump, I would just vote for Donald Trump. I would
Yeah.
just literally go to the booth, say Donald Trump. Talk about, because I know you've heard it. I know you've heard a vote for West is a vote for Trump. Talk about, and I'm assuming you think it's silly. Talk about how silly that type of thinking is.
Well, I mean, the blue, no matter who, the what it does is it just um, allows the Democratic Party to be Republicans, to just, it doesn't really even matter. There is no lesser evil anymore. But yeah, it's a vote is a vote. You vote for Democrat, you vote for Republican, or you vote for independent or whatever. And there should be ranked choice voting. That would be much better. But people, you know, it takes courage to go away from this system that we're in, and nobody can look at it and say, are we doing anything about the climate crisis? Are we helping people get health care? Are we helping people have housing? Um, None of that is happening with the Democrats. It never has. They they are responsible for mass incarceration. They are responsible, Clinton, for ending all safety nets. You know, with their I don't know, compassionate way of doing it. They're great wordsmiths, and they've perfected it over the time. So I'm sorry, I'm going off.
No, no, you're right on the path.
Yes, when people tell you that, and people vote out of fear because they're worried. But there is no lesser evil party. They are both part of the same system. They are the duopoly.
Exactly. And that's what I keep telling people. I'm like, there's some, when you say lesser of two evils, if you take, let's just say this is one evil and this is another one. If I take this one away, I still have evil. I still have evil. How
And
are
that's
you?
the thing.
It's like you aren't even making sense. I tell people this, and I had to just tell one person, I'm like, you know what? You can unfriend me all you want. I'm not going to, there's nothing you can say, there's nothing you can do to make me go in the booth and vote for Joe Biden.
No.
Nothing. No thing is going to make me vote for a segregationist, someone that strongly, I believe, and I'm going to say this so YouTube doesn't take me back down, strongly, I believe, is guilty of sexual assault.
Absolutely.
Strongly said, oh, and this is an actual quote from his mouth, that he wanted to get rid of Social Security. He wanted to
Absolutely.
get rid of the social safety nets like Medicare and Medicaid. And, oh, well, that was years ago. But the people who say that, they'll go back 50 years on Trump. Well, when he was in the, okay, so if you can go back 50 years on Trump, I can go 50 years back on Biden and talk about how he literally said he didn't want his children to go to school with black children because we live in cages. Are you seriously wanting me to go in the booth and are you serious? Are you
And
serious?
also, Joe Biden, you can say Trump, he's so scary. Trump, you know, Joe Biden has been in politics for a long time. He wanted to be like the drug czar. He was all about invasions in Latin America. He was part of the beginning of the DLC. He he was behind the crime bill that brought about mass incarcerations. And he said, if there wasn't an Israel, we'd have to invent one. You know, his policies have hurt us far more than Trump over the years. And
And
now just a cute old man that seems to be harmless, but the people around him, the people he's groomed, are not. And
it,
that's the Democratic Party right now.
exactly. Here's what I'll say before we're gonna definitely talk about some more things about Dr. West. And I'm like, I can't believe y'all went this low, but it's only gonna get worse. I'm just waiting on the next worst attack, and I'm like, I think for me, when you said that was so, like, that really weighs with me, because when you try to tell people, look, if you vote, when you tell me that you're gonna vote for somebody that's actively working against you because you're afraid of the other person, that's concerning to me,
Mm-hmm.
because that tells me you don't really care. If you really cared, you'd be like, um, you would be more empathetic, right? You would just say, or the one I really hate is, I would vote for third parties if they were more viable. How do they become more viable if you don't vote for them?
You know what I think also is a problem is that there's a lot of people that are comfortable enough, and they're
Yes.
worried about falling down to that level of being, well, like I've seen people who were residents just a few years ago that are now houseless. You know, they're afraid of falling through the cracks, and so and they've got they what back in the 90s they decided to put people with 401ks, push 401ks on people, and if people didn't go into get the 401ks, then they would not have a retirement. People who have those 401ks, they're tied to Wall Street, and that was their plan all along. They are part of it because they're tied to Wall Street, so they want the success of these corporations.
And I think
And
that's the
corporations
thing,
are tied to both parties.
you know. And I think that's another thing that stood out about Dr. West's campaign, that he has rejected that type of funding, because it does. Getting back to the $3,300, it does, when you're getting millions from outside interests. They're not giving you millions just because, oh, you're just the nicest person that ever was, and we just really agree with your stance, and we want to make sure that you get elected. No, they want something. They literally want something. And as much as I tell people, you gotta vote, because here's how I feel. Um of course I support Dr. West. I'm gonna vote for Dr. West. But here's three people. As long as you don't vote for Biden, Trump, or Kennedy, I literally don't care. May the best person win. That's literally the point that this party, the Democrat Party, has gotten me to, because it's like they voter blame.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when Hillary lost, it was the Jill Stein voters. No, Hillary, it was your fault.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't do. I think Jill Stein got like what 1%, something like that. I'm like, really?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
They
like it's like
and
no
they
accountability.
Jill Stein. They demonize anybody who would dare to run against.
And
Um,
yeah. And speaking of the Green Party, I know. Um, I don't know how you feel about Dr. West breaking away from the Green Party to become independent. I'll let you talk
it,
about it, and then I'm going to talk about what I think.
it took it was shocking at first. I was thinking, oh my gosh, because I had gotten behind the Green Party. I had tried to become part of, to say, register Green and vote for Dr. West, right? But within, I believe, as an independent, he is able to carry out his platform better. And he has the best platform of anybody out there. He is honest and direct. Like the first thing, abolish poverty.
Exactly.
Abolish
Who yeah,
poverty.
who's
Or
I don't see the Green Party talking about that. And I'm
abolish
in the
homelessness.
I'm
Like,
in the Green Party. And I
yeah,
don't see the Green Party talk. I'm like, wait a minute, he's talking about abolish poverty. Who else is out there talking about abolishing poverty and homelessness? Not the Green Party, not PSL, not and
yeah.
it seems like I'm gonna knock. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Keep
No,
going.
no, no, no. You are fine. He speaks from the heart. He
Yeah,
speaks from truth, justice, and equity. That's it. What you see is what you get. He's who he is, and he's always walked his talk.
yeah. And I think here's what I'll say. And I may not be a Indiana Green Party member after I say this, but oh well. I'm glad he broke from the Green Party. I literally am, and I lean more towards you. I think what they wanted was him to build the party, and
Mhm.
that's not what he wanted to do.
I do, yeah,
Um,
I do believe he wants a movement,
he
but I
wants
think
a
he wants a
movement, and
movement
he
of
doesn't necessarily
everything.
right. He
Right.
wants a movement and not a party. Party building is that's a lot of work,
Mhm.
because I'm in a party. I'm like, he can't do that. I mean, that's not. He said that's not my strong suit. That's not why he's running. He's trying to start a movement. A
So
movement and a party are different. They're two different things.
may I say, those of you who are in the Green Party,
Yeah, we're not meaning
register
insults.
independent now, because he's going to be running independent, so we have to register independent. In my state, it doesn't matter. You don't have to do that. In other states, I don't know how it is in Indiana, but
We don't have to. We have to make sure he gets on the ballot, which that's a whole another thing.
yeah,
Um,
gotta
but
also look at that.
it didn't matter to me if I had to write his name in. I'm just gonna write his name in. So that's just me. But I just think it's a good thing. Matter of fact, when he announced he was leaving, I was very happy because I'm like, that's not the type of campaign. He doesn't want to start a political party. That's not his goal. That's not his mission. His mission is to build a movement that is people based and people powered. And there's a lot of other things that are going on with the Green Party that I will not get in on this podcast because that's not for public knowledge. But it made perfect sense to me. I'm like, oh, thank you for doing this, because people always say, well,
Sorry, go ahead.
nope, you go ahead.
There are some people in it that's good. They're in it for environmental reasons, but after talking to a few people, they're not into it as much for other reasons. For other, we all have to fight for everyone, everything. You know, we don't leave anybody out. And there's a little division in the Green Party about that.
Right. And that's what I said. I said, well, Green Party is great on the environment, but what about the working class?
Mm-hmm.
What about the working poor? What about housing? What about, there's so many things that I think are missing. Mm-hmm. And that's why I was like, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Even as a Green Party member, like I said, I may not be after this podcast goes out. Hey, that's fine, whatever. But I'm like, no. And Dr. West said it himself. He said the Green Party does not do a good job of reaching the working class. And I 1,000,000% agree with that statement.
Even though the last people who ran were very much working class people.
Exactly.
In the Green Party. And I did vote Green. Because I was, I liked what they had to say about workers' rights. But I believe that I'm hoping the people in the Green Party will not just, I'm so tired of the party loyalists. We have to go and we have to do what's best for the country. And what's best for the country is Dr. West's platform of what
exactly. I think another thing that I loved about his platform, and I haven't heard anybody say this, a $27 minimum wage.
Absolutely.
Who's out here saying that?
You're in a place where you're in a city that, like, what, San Francisco, where it takes
San Francisco, any place in Hawaii, New York City, Atlanta, where it's high. Yeah. I'm like, who is saying this?
Yeah. I mean, but, then you've got to control these, whatever the market will bear, developers and landlords and people that are just greedy.
Exactly.
Rein those people in. And so I like that about it too. So, he has economic justice, worker justice, racial,
environmental,
voter justice.
Yeah, who's out here talking about environmental racism? I have heard zero, literally, well, you're not going to ever hear from the Republican Party because they basically are like abortion, 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 ban every book possible, blah, blah, blah. I haven't heard any Democrat ever say, you know what, the minimum wage should be $27. They didn't even... There were 8 Democrats that voted against a $15 minimum wage.
These are neoliberals. They are tied to corporate money.
Exactly.
And they do not want to offend their donors. And, they don't really care.
And I think that's why I'm attracted to this particular campaign, because I'm like, I really feel like Dr. West is not doing this Some people said it's a vanity project or he shouldn't have ran. And I'm like, well, why can't he? He's at least 35. He was born in the United States and he's lived in the United States at least 14 years. Why can't he run?
And he's been an activist.
No, I
And
mean, just basically on the core.
oh,
I
yeah.
would go with the core because I feel like people say, well, now I'm talking about the now is not the time people who
Yeah.
really agitate me because
Okay,
what they do, they move the goalposts.
Yeah.
Now isn't the time. 4 years from now is it going to be the time? 12 years. It's always they move it.
Mm-hmm.
They move it, and I'm like, well, when is the time? I was on a podcast.
What's wrong with you guys is you want everything right now. Incrementalism.
You want too much. That's the one that gets me. I'm like, what do you mean I want too much? I don't want people on the street. Darn me, I want too much. How dare I?
And Bernie. You know, Bernie, what bothers me the most about it is that he actually had a movement behind him. He had people that were donating to him that couldn't afford to donate. They were going out on the streets. They were doing whatever they could because they thought he was their last hope. And he really almost pretty much was. It seemed like it. And that movement, it just fell apart.
You may not want to start me on Bernie because, boy, I believe he sold it. I'm like, they done got to Bernie. What happened? This guy used to be the anti-war candidate or a politician, and now he's like, yeah, send Israel more money. Do what?
Yeah, he's watching these words. He's being.
What happened? Either he wasn't that way and he was a really good actor. They just wore him down and wore him down and wore him down. I'm more leaning towards the say, like, they done got to Bernie. What? How?
What do they have on him that he's just collapsed? I don't know. He just sold us all out. He shamed us. Voting for Biden. He gave her, he yeah. So
and they use this excuse. Don't vote for Biden because of his record or what he's done. Vote for him because he's not Trump. Here's what I'll say. I'm not Trump. I don't look like Trump. I don't have orange face. I don't have any of those things. Vote for me. Well, why? I'm not Trump. What? That's the only thing you have? You don't have like a platform or things you want to do?
Oh, they do. They have a platform. I mean,
it's not on their website.
On the White House thing, they still have what the election promises were that they actually let us down on. They still have that up there.
But Biden doesn't have his own because he can't use whitehouse.gov as his campaign site. He has to have like a separate one, right? I haven't seen a separate one. I'm like, where's the separate one?
But now, with what has happened with the people that have been murdered in Palestine, and with his continual support of Israel, and the he is evil. I'm sorry, this guy has shown who he is, and Democrats, even some of them, a lot of them want ceasefire. A lot of them don't want to do that, but nobody's talking about it.
Well, look what they did. Yeah.
On Facebook, Democrats will not talk about anything until they're given a talking point from the Democratic Party.
Well, that's the thing, and this is why I like the campaign of Dr. West so much, is because we have our talking points. We definitely have our talking points. But it's not like I have to ask permission. Now, can I say this? I didn't ask permission before I did this podcast. I just said, I'm going to do it.
I love that.
This is what I'm going to do. And people don't like it. Oh, well, that's fine. But it's like we have we're more free to say, hey, look, and this is what I ask every so-called vote blue, no matter who. If look at pick an issue that you're for.
Mm-hmm.
Has Joe Biden expanded that issue in his, well, it'll be 4 years coming up? If the answer is no, why are you voting for him? Like, why? I think people are, like, we got to get people unscared, right? We got to get them unscared. It's like, hey, take a leap.
Do we at all bring in the mainstream media that doesn't that omits?
Well, look at RFK. He's at like 20% and he hasn't gotten any media. I don't know how he's doing it. I don't know what he's doing. I don't get it. But he's at 27% right now. No media coverage. None. But he's polling at 27%.
Really?
He's in the high 20s. He's almost at 30. And he's gotten literally no coverage. None. So it's possible, we want to win the whole thing, obviously, but there's a lot of work to be done.
I guess what I'm saying is that what most Democrats are hearing isn't stuff against the Democratic Party or Biden.
Oh, no.
Actual even truths.
Right. You got MSDNC.
Tell them that things aren't getting done. They reframe things that do happen. They don't talk about things that are embarrassing.
Right. They won't even. I haven't watched MSDNC in so long.
I haven't either.
I'm like, I'm sitting here like, I'm pretty sure they're not covering the protests that are continually going on. They're not covering, they're just not. They're not. I mean, and they bring on Dr. West and they ask the same question, the spoiler. And I love Dr. West's answer when he says, how can you spoil something that's already rotten?
He just
and I do, if we could just, and that's what I'm gonna start saying to people. It's like, look, my whole homepage, pretty much next January to November, it's all gonna be by Dr. West. I'm not gonna post anything. Well, I'm gonna post other stuff, but the majority, yep, that's what I'm posting. Because either you keep voting for the Democrats and nothing changes, or you say, you know what, I'm tired of it.
It's true. And a lot of people are tired of it, and it just takes standing up, a backbone. Yep. You just have to vote. If enough of us vote independent for Dr. West, we can change things.
Because we can't have RFK. I'm sorry, we just can't. We cannot. I'm gonna do a whole, like, after this, I tape another podcast, and because I don't understand. If we had debates today, it'd be Trump, Biden, and Kennedy in a debate. No. That needs to be West, and West, basically, because I don't want to hear anything the other three have to say.
I would love to see Dr. West on the stage with all of them.
He would destroy them. He would literally destroy them. I mean, it'd be over.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they gave him no questions. Because, corporate media, they're not, well, you're giving the election to Trump. Prove it. I wonder if they ever ask an independent voter why they vote independent. I bet they never even asked that.
And the thing about it is, probably a third of the population is independent. We have, we could do it. We really can.
Absolutely, we could do it.
Democrats who say, "Hey, wait a minute! This isn't what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to care about people. We're supposed to not support countries that commit mass murder. We're supposed to be the good guys." Yet
we are not. And I think the thing that I appreciate about Dr. West, in his foreign policy, he links foreign policy and domestic policy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I just focus on domestic, domestic. And once I started paying attention, I'm like, oh, these two do actually interconnect.
They do. They do. Absolutely. I like how he talks about the standard of living, of taking debt away from nations that all over the world. I love the truth and reconciliation on what we have done in Latin America, in Africa, and Asia, and the Middle East, where we come out and we apologize. We tell the truth, and we go on from there. You know?
And as far as I know, now, no, he's not, because the Green Party's for reparations. Marianne Williams is for reparations, so he doesn't stand alone in that.
Mm-hmm.
However, I want to go over some of the things that frustrate me about being a West supporter. I'm going to be a West supporter. Blank, blank, period. You're not changing my mind. I don't care. Green Party, be sad, be mad, but oh well. I want to talk about some of the most egregious lies, and that's what they are, that I've heard about Dr. West. We've already talked about the $3,300, which again, I still see no problem with that. But apparently people think that $3,300 can buy influence, where I'm like, it's just $3,300. But that's beyond the point.
There are people taking billions.
Yeah,
millions.
No, there are literally people on the left that was like, oh, but he's buying influence. $3,300? Seriously? Come on, yo. But the one that I think really gets at me, there are two.
Okay.
The child support one. I'm like, this man has one child that I think is my age. Are you serious? Are you for real serious? Are you serious?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like I say, it's a distraction.
And I wonder what else are they going to come up with?
Well, the whole thing about what he owes the
taxes.
Taxes, and the point is, if you owe taxes, and I found this out after getting a divorce, I had to pay a lot of taxes, and if you cannot pay them back, it's like 10%. It just keeps piling on, right? So if he has a lot of taxes to pay back because, and I think he was talking about helping family members do certain things, you know, he's not as interested in money as these greedy people, and he, you know, it keeps adding on. So if you're owing taxes, he's actually paying them. It's just,
exactly.
It's like paying off any debt. It's like having a student loan. It just keeps adding on all of the interest, and so he has to owe more. And it's happened like over 20 years or something like that. I mean, it's just a debt.
Here's what I'll say: if he didn't pay his taxes, so you think I'm sitting here like? And your point is, who doesn't owe taxes? Like who?
But he is. He's just paying.
No, but I'm saying even if he wasn't, Trump didn't pay his taxes, and he has at least 15 to 20 times more money than Dr. West has.
Absolutely.
But you're not going to say that. Okay, now I get you. Now I get what you're trying to do. These personal attacks. I mean, I've heard just some. Like I said, I think the child support one is the one that just irks my nerves, because I'm like, his children are grown. Are you serious? His children are grown. Do you really? Because to me, it presents an image. You take a black man,
mm-hmm.
and then you say, oh, he doesn't pay child support. He doesn't take care of his responsibilities. Well, thank you for contributing to the stereotype.
Yeah.
Just thank you, because that's pretty much what we needed.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know,
So
it's just
they don't have much on him, really.
what
And what they do,
they make up stuff. They really do.
yeah. And, they come up with talking points and people parrot them. And they feed them to the news, the corporate news, and they parrot them.
Yep.
And,
He
and
doesn't pay his taxes. I wonder how if Joe Biden pays his. I wonder because he's never. I don't think did Joe Biden release his tax. He may have. Like they released their
they
tax
have so
return.
many people, so many, ways of hiding things. It's all, at least, you know, Dr. West is all out there with what he has. He's a human being. He's had to survive in this world. He's a professor. He speaks his mind. He's an activist, and yeah,
And
you're
yeah, exactly. And he's done something that I haven't heard. RFK, Marianne Williams, um, I haven't heard anybody say, "Hey, I've been in the prisons." Now, maybe Joe Biden has, because he did get arrested with Nelson Mandela, but he literally said that. I'm like, Joe, why are you sitting there? You know that can be proven, right? You know, all we gotta do is just look. Like, if you're gonna lie about something that you can't prove, like he had dinner over his house one time. Oh, well, okay. Nope, I got arrested with him.
this folksy guy telling tall tales. It's okay.
My house burned down. It was a kitchen fire that was put out in 5 minutes. Like, what?
Back in '88, when he was actually running for president, there were reporters that actually brought him down over lies. It destroyed his campaign. Those same lies he's telling now. Nobody cares.
And let me not start with the plagiarizing. Oh, I'll go, but see, you want evil. Some of these people I think that support Biden want evil Tracy to come out. Look, okay, let's talk about it. Dr. West has never been accused of plagiarizing anything that he has ever written. I can't say the same thing about Joe Biden. Now, what? What you gonna do this? See, that's another reason I won't run for office. Michelle Obama once said this thing about when they go low, we go high. You go low, I'm going lower. I don't care. I don't care. I will go low. I'll go right down there with you. And then,
I don't call it going low. I call it speaking the truth, telling.
oh no, I go low. Oh, I go low. Low.
No, I mean telling what they've been up to, what they're actually about. I don't think that's low.
It's low in the media's eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there aren't even truth tellers.
No.
But
we got to get out there that there are some good media companies out there that are more independent. There's Truth Out and Consortium News and places that you can go to for news.
Now, I'm not going to bring up your comment, Stanley, but you say go low, very MAGA of you. This is why Trump's support is increasing. Because he will say, he'll go real low. Now, he goes lower than I do. When I say go low, I'm talking about, okay, you're going to say one truth, I'm going to come back with you with something else.
That's true. You're not coming back with a lie, though.
Yeah, I'm not coming back with a lie. I'm coming back with the truth. It's perceived as low because that's the way the media frames it.
Such as, the fact that, never mind.
No, keep going.
Okay, well, Biden's history. I mean, there's a whole bunch to reveal there, and it's all out there. But people don't want to see it; they want to omit it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way. It's just like I said. 2024 is going to be a wild year, and of course. I have every bone in my body says that Dr. West is going to win this thing.
Really? I'm so
everything in my because the time is right.
It is
right. And I think if not now, when?
It only takes. There was this great meme I saw once where they had a whole bunch of people with a board on their back and just a few people on top sitting and sitting in chairs and whatnot, and they just stood up and knocked it all over. That's all you have to do. There's only a few people that are really running things. There's a whole bunch of citizens that could actually make a change. We can make a change by just voting independent, voting our values, voting
Yeah.
voting for people that are not people that are suffering, both in the world and in this country.
Yep. And here's the thing, and here comes my next to last question, because I kept you an hour and I said, oh, this is gonna be quick.
Really? Oh,
Yes, we've been talking an hour. Again, everybody visit the Cornel West website, presidential website at cornelwest2024.com, where you can find the donate link, the volunteer link, the events page. He's got a lot of events coming up. So, like I said, this page is probably going to be displayed a whole lot more as I do future shows.
Read his platform.
Absolutely. You definitely want to read the platform, and here's the link to the platform. Absolutely read the platform. You're talking about a presidential candidate that's talking about eliminating poverty, eliminating homelessness, addressing reparations, a $27 hour minimum wage, not 15, that's nothing. Not 18, that's nothing. Not 19, that's something. 27. And if you live in a higher, a higher income level where it takes more to live, you get more per hour. You're not going to get that from Kennedy. You're not going to get that from Trump. You're not going to get that from Biden. You're not going to get that from Williamson. You probably won't get that from the Green Party. You probably won't, but maybe they will catch on to it. But this platform, like I said, it's the most pro-black platform I have ever read, ever.
Absolutely.
And I was like, okay, I've got to tell everybody about this, because it's just a great platform. And when you look at the other ones, because I do look at other candidates' platforms, I'm like, well, where's the rest of it? You get things like restoring the soul of the nation. Okay, so I have a mortgage that the interest rates are too high. How are you going to address that? I can barely afford groceries. So how is restoring the soul of the nation or making America great? How? And then you have Kennedy that's just like what I call a walking contradiction. I don't even want to discuss that guy, because I'm saving mine up for the 14th when I totally go off. Like I said, Dr. West is like I said, deep in my heart, I believe Dr. West is going to win. But here comes the question: when Dr. West wins, not if, when, I can't imagine that the media won't be shocked. And I can't imagine the Democrats and Republicans just sitting back saying, well, we lost. I guess that's it.
But
yeah. I see legal action that's going to take place. And I know the camp. Yeah, they're not going to just sit there and be like, well, we lost. Expect court cases and court cases and court cases. And if you need evidence of what I'm talking about, Joe Biden just appointed some guy that worked as a czar to make sure about ballot access. What state is Joe Biden going to have ballot access problems in? None. What he's really there for is to make sure that independent candidates don't get on the ballots.
They did that before. The Democratic lawyers go out and work at getting the Green Party last time off the ballot.
Off the ballot. And that's why
they spend lots of money on that.
Exactly. And again, this is why we keep saying to donate, because legal fees, that costs money to go to court.
Yeah. Also to get on the ballot. So we
Yep.
all need to, I guess, monthly donate. I did it with with Bernie, Charles Brooker. I had monthly donations just come out. I mean, you spend it on Netflix or
Yeah, and
Hulu
we're not
or
talking
whatever.
about, we're not talking about throwing all your life savings away. We're talking about something reasonable, $5 to $10 a month. If you can do more, definitely do more. I do mine kind of sporadically. I plan on, and you can do something that I'm gonna do. I plan on actually, and I put this on the Women for Cornel West group. Is I'm hosting a virtual fundraiser. And so it's just any woman that wants to come out that supports Dr. West. We'll be playing some trivia. I haven't really thought about the whole because it's not till February. But yes, definitely donate because you have, and now the Republicans are scared, so they're going to try to keep Kennedy off the ballot. But don't donate to them. Don't
No,
donate to them.
no,
No,
no.
just donate to
Also,
Dr. West.
be informed. Find out about these
Yeah.
people. It's amazing once you start digging what you find out. Um, uh, Volunteer in any way you can.
Oh, now I'm going to put this one up because I want you to answer this one.
Okay, sorry, the duck. But what waste your vote? Aren't you wasting your vote on on a duopoly, on an oligarchy that doesn't serve anybody? I mean,
and, and will never advance.
there is no wasting your vote. You just join a lot of other people in voting for your values, for for you know human values. I don't understand the whole waste your vote thing. I really don't. Your vote
I,
is your vote.
exactly, and you said it better than I could because, and I know Parker, so I know like the issues that you advocate for. The Democrats are never going to do. They will never ever talk about housing. They'll never try to eradicate homelessness. They will not try to advocate poverty. So
They are.
I'm, for me, wasting a vote is voting Democrat. That to me is wasting my vote because I know who they are.
Don't waste your vote. Don't waste your voice.
Yeah, because they're not going to change.
Educate yourself. The so-called experts. It doesn't take a lot. Public records are out there. You can ask for them. You can you can find out about people and
And what they're doing.
what
And
they're doing. Yes.
exactly. And I think that's the thing that the media has done a good job of. They've okay. Yes, Stanley, voting for Republicans is a wasted vote, but we don't waste our time with the Republican Party because they just pure evil.
They
They
don't.
they don't even they just so far
Yeah.
gone. It's
It's
like,
like
oh well, whatever. They're
it's like
there, I guess.
but what about Republicans? It's like I don't even look at Republicans. They are the evil party, yeah, but so are the Democrats, and they have become Republicans, and it's
Yeah,
it's
they're. A matter of fact, I'm going to start calling them the Demopubs. That's what I'm going to start calling them, the Demopubs, because they're not different. Yeah, Parker,
that's
I
all it
disagree with
is.
that wasting my vote thing because I'm like, no, you waste your vote when you intentionally vote for somebody that you know Joe Biden isn't going to do anything. You
Uh,
literally know it, but you're going to vote for him anyway. That makes you a part of the problem.
yes, there's an explanation out there about how you can't waste your vote. There are people that are able to that have explained it over and over again. It's ridiculous. We need to vote our values. We need to vote. There was this one thing that Bernie said that I really loved. Vote. Sorry,
Vote as your life depended on it because it really does.
not just your life, but vote as if you're not just voting for yourself and your family, but you're voting for other people. You're voting
Yes, other people,
something like
exactly.
that. There's this. I used to put it up all the time, but it's think. outside of yourself. Think about what you're seeing, what's happening to people around you. And it could easily have happened to me if I didn't, just dumb luck of going in one other direction. I mean, it's just, we're allowing people to fall into under the cracks, into the cracks, and like out of sight, like
Yeah,
sweeping
and that
away like trash. And
exactly. Yes. And that's the thing that I keep telling people is like, look, the homeless problem, because that's one of the healthcare, um,
healthcare is mine too.
um, we're never going to get Medicare for all until independents get into office. Well, let me backtrack. Independents that don't take corporate money, because I got to add that to it. We're never going to get anything that we want. Well, let me say it this way. And to expect things to change, um, by voting Democrat or Republican, you see it's not going to change and you keep voting for it anyway, you should not expect things to change. And that's what a lot of people are saying. Oh, and that wasn't Parker. Parker, I'm sorry. I said that was you. That was Lori Parks. I just saw Parks. And sorry about that, Parker. So don't not be my supporter. But I just, like I said, when Dr. West wins, um, of course, again, there's going to be lawsuits. But I want one job. Yeah, because I'm campaigning for my job right now, this second. Please let me be set press secretary. Oh, I could do this. Oh, I will go right there like Danielle heard what he said. Did you hear what he said? Oh, please. I know I'll never get it. I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I will move to DC. I will give up my job. Just let me be president. That's all I want. That's all I want.
You know, if when he gets elected, we all have to stay tuned in. We all
Right. And we have to keep pushing and can't we have to keep pushing them. We
and
can't just let it right. And I think that's what he's very open to is he said, I want when I win, I don't want people to just say, I can do everything because he's going to have a hard time.
no.
He'll be the first independent president in 100 and some odd years.
Mm-hmm.
Congress isn't going to want to pass his agenda. The Senate, it's just going to be a mess. But I think I heard him say something that was so good to hear when he said, I'll use the bully pulpit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. I'm like,
but
do the parties know that they have that? Do like the Democrats and Republicans? Now Trump knew it. Now, I'm going to give Trump credit for one thing and a couple other things. He knew how to use the bully pulpit. It was for the wrong things. Definitely for the wrong things. Biden acts like, I can't do anything. You got Air Force One. Every time you open your mouth, somebody's going to be there to take it down. You mean to tell me when you told the 8 Democrats to vote against? So let me shut up on that one. Because y'all know I don't think
so
he
many
wanted
things we still need to talk about.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
stay involved and take this democracy back to actually, help.
Oh, you think we have a democracy?
Inspire people to actually become a movement to help them.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that Dr. West has said that I really appreciate. He wants people to push him when he's president.
Absolutely.
And not just be sad. Well, we did that. Look at us. We did all the work. No, it's not over. Because you're going to have a Congress that literally is going to be like, you're going to be a one-term president. That's our goal.
Ooh.
No, you'll be a 3-month president. That's our goal.
There's one other thing I wanted to bring up. The fact that he has to be able to speak anywhere he's offered a chance to speak. So if he's speaking on Fox News, you can't put him down for being on Fox News. It's given a place to speak, you
Heck,
know?
if it
And
wasn't for
that's why
Fox News, he wouldn't even be on TV.
yeah, that's the
I'm
point.
like, oh, anybody else gonna put?
You can't put him down for that. It's,
Nope.
he's being shut out everywhere else.
Well, he
So
was on what was that show on MSDNC with the lawyer guy? Aubrey, no, not Aubrey Melbourne, the other guy. He
I
was
don't
on
know,
there.
but
I
yeah,
know, that's why I don't want. I'm like, because Dr. West was gonna be on there.
uh-huh.
So I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch it because Dr. West was on there. So that's why I watched it, but I can't remember the guy. I know it was RB something, 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 something.
But is that MSN?
No, I always just call it MSDNC. That's what I literally call it because that's literally what the Fox is for the Republicans and MSDNC is for the Democrats. Like they serve no other purpose. And you guys thank you for putting your comments in. We're going to get to them because there's a lot of them, which I'm always glad about the comments because I rarely get them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But again, he's gonna have. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. And that's the thing that you have to know before you sign up to volunteer. I know it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to do everything in my power to defeat the Democrat Republican Party. Period. Because they don't mean us any good. They don't want to do anything for people. And it's not just at the federal level, it's at the state level, it's at the city level. And I challenge people who say, I don't want to waste my vote. So you're gonna just keep voting for a party that doesn't do you any good and then
Well, okay. One thing that they've done is
it's made it harder for people.
no, for people who are comfortable that have 401ks, they've gone through the roof. They've made lots and lots of money. If that's what you care about, instead of other people suffering, um, that's what it's done. It's also housing prices have gone up. So, if that's what you care about more than other people, um, then that's one thing that's happened. But it will fall again. So
It's just I'm just like, and that's why
that's
someone.
free. Sorry.
Yes, no, thank you. But one of the things that I would love to do is to have actually the person who the podcast is named after, because I'm just throwing out this on. Of course, and here's where my little self plug comes in. I don't have enough subscribers for Dr. West to come on this podcast. Period. I only have
I would think that he would come. I would think that if you could get the message to him, he would come.
I tried. And
And
it's okay. It's okay because I wouldn't come on my podcast either. I only have 145 subscribers. So I need at least twice that number. So and I said I wouldn't advertise myself, but subscribe to this channel, please. And that'll be the last pitch I make for myself. But I do plan on putting
but
this.
you also admin women for Cornel West. I mean, women for Cornel West.
That's true, but that's only like what 126 because we kicked that one person out. We were like, oh no, girl, bye. You tell me I'm not for. Why you join a group then? Like, why did you? That's another thing that agitates me. People, when you join a group and it says Dr. Cornel West for president or bust, if you're not for him being president, don't join the group. Like, just don't. Like, go to one of them other ones. Like, go to the Jill Stein group or go to that's my own personal thing. I hate it because I'm like.
Although, again, we need to convince a lot of people. I too, and I guess
It's gonna be a lot of work. It's not for the faint of heart. When you work a campaign, this will be like what my third one. Because I campaigned for Nader, I campaigned for Bernie, and now I'm going to campaign for Dr. West.
You campaigned for Nader.
Yes, yes, I'm that old. Well, don't let the gray hair fool you.
I'm older
No, you're not.
by 11 years.
How old do you think I am?
You just do you want me to say? Because I think
Yes,
I read that you think you didn't you say you were turning 50?
yes. I'm turning 50 in January.
What?
You're how old?
61.
Okay. Because if you had said I was 61, I'm like, I'm going to take her off. I'm going to take her off this podcast. Because
But
that's it's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. When did that turn? Oh, that's a whole nother podcast. But I'm just saying, it's going to working campaign. It's not easy. It
yeah,
takes over your entire life. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to just volunteer 1 or 2 hours, not with an independent candidate. Because I tell you what, when I did the NAC, I worked harder than I've ever worked.
that was in
Ever. The
Thank
Nader one. The
thank you
first
for doing that.
campaign.
I voted for Nader,
Yep, in
but I didn't think.
2000.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked this campaign in 2000. Then, of course, I worked for Bernie. And now I'm working for Dr. What. So I know what I'm getting into, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do it because I think his platform, that's just what, I don't know who wrote it, I don't know who he consulted, but it's just the most comprehensive platform that I have ever seen. Ever. It's
Absolutely.
better than Nader's, it's better than the Greens.
Way. Um, the global justice, first thing, dismantle U.S. empire.
Exactly.
We have,
Getting rid of
oh,
NATO.
we have,
Like
we,
get NATO. Like we're wasting our time. Like if we close down 10% of our, of course, I say close 90% of our military, but we're in countries that we are not even at war with. Like, why do we have a base in Germany?
Germany, yeah, but yeah, but I don't know why we still. I guess we do because of NATO, because we want to, because of Russia or whatever.
Right, we have a base in Japan. I thought we in Japan were pretty much good. I'm like,
Its location, it's we have bases all over the Pacific, and its location to China. You know,
oh
we
no,
have,
not evil
we have
China. Oh
dominating.
please, not evil China. China is evil, and they're the axis of evil. Um. Oh no, not
Nobody
evil.
has as many bases as we do all over the world. There's another reason why we have bases in smaller countries is that we we push our industry on them. We if they don't cooperate with our exploitation, we we are there to help business.
And you said it a whole lot nicer than I would. We're there to tell them either do what we say, no, just do what we tell you to do.
Exactly.
That's literally why. I mean, our government. When we talk about, people talk about the protests, which is a good point that Israel occupies Palestine. That's terrible. But I'm going to break some news to some of these America is the greatest nation in the world people. We're doing exactly the same thing now. Exactly the same thing
We
now.
support we support bad countries. We support dictators.
Terrible.
We
You
we do it to help. We do it for greed.
exactly. There was a coup in Chile. Was it in the 70s? I know I was a kid. I had to be like 3 or 4 years old. We
Yeah,
didn't like the fact that he was a Marxist or he wasn't he
the
was
socialist,
yeah, he
and
was a socialist.
when he's throwing American countries, he was nationalizing. He was not allowing American countries companies to be.
Yeah, exactly. The people elected him. But we said, I would imagine. I mean, that was the whole thing
We
about when
support.
Hillary went. Um, we don't interfere in other countries' election. Like, we just out here like the evil that this country does, and people don't know about it. It just I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
tell people about it, oh, well, it was a good reason. No, imagine, and here's how I explain the Palestine issue. Imagine you've lived in a home and somebody comes to your house and says, you need to get out. This is our home now. What? Huh? What? Where did this come from?
Exactly. And that's what going back to Cornell, telling the truth and reconciliation, apologizing for past deeds doesn't make us weaker. It makes us stronger. It makes us a better leader in the world.
That's what we try
So,
to teach our children. Like
it,
when you're wrong, apologize.
exactly. And
Now,
so,
some apologies need to come with some monetary things like reparations, but the apology is first and then the monetary is second.
mm-hmm, absolutely, it needs to be.
And yeah, it just amazes me that people will literally, like the one comment we had, will literally say, "Yeah, I know that I agree with the third party candidate, but I can't vote for them because they can't win." See, they can't win because you don't vote for them.
Exactly.
See how that works. See, you
That's
have to
pretty
vote for them
good. You
for them
got
to
to have
win.
a backbone. You have to try. And if
Exactly.
everybody else does, we can do it.
Yep. So we're gonna get to all of these comments. Like I said, there's a ton of comments here. So I want to get to them. Oh, I already answered this one. Yes, I said we're voting for a Republican was a wasted vote. Voting values is perfect as long as you realize the independents don't vote as a block, which I wish independents would vote as a block. Now that I do criticize the third party candidates that are in office need to all get together and be like, okay, we're gonna want this, 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 and this.
I think people who are working class, people who um, are poor, who are living in places where there's environmental injustice. All these people, once they see a move, should be part of a movement that comes together.
Yep.
That I don't know. Independent is what he's running under, but that's just a way to vote for him
Right.
because the system is kind of difficult
It
for a
is.
party candidate.
Exactly. Hey, Jesse Paris, because I can't pronounce that other part, so I'm just going to call you Tracy. He says hello, or she says hello. Dr. West plans on meeting with my independent party, the Unity Party, for a nomination. Okay, so Jesse, now I'm going to ask you for a favor. Can you send me an email at Tracy TracyMediallc at gmail.com and give me more information about the independent party, the Unity Party. I think that's what they're called. If you could give me some more information about it, I would greatly appreciate it.
That's really good. That's really great. I'd like to get them too.
The reason for the duopoly is because both parties control the voting apparatus at the state levels. They do.
Yes.
Americans have never been a democracy. Now that part I agree with, because I'm like, if we had a democracy, Bernie Sanders would have been president, and I said what I said, and I don't care. I know he's sold out now, but I'm talking about then, because he should have won that Democratic nomination. Period.
Electoral
But
college
was intentionally anti. The electoral college is anti-democratic, and I think Dr. West has talked about ranked choice voting, which would actually benefit the Democratic Party, but they just like,
So
yeah,
you should have the courage to vote independent, and your second vote would be for the next person you wanted. So you wouldn't have to worry about your vote being wasted.
Yep. And Jesse says, yeah, Stanley, we just had to testify at the state assembly in Colorado in regards to what they are trying to make it harder for independent candidates on the state ballot. I went through a similar situation. I didn't know you ran for office. Hi, Jesse. The problem with the bully pulpit, e.g., popular vote, it fails to consider the electoral college. I say get rid of the electoral college, but hey, that's just me.
That's one of the things that needs to be.
The bully pulpit, now Stanley, I'm going to disagree with you. The bully pulpit that the president has can be useful. And I'm going to give you an example of how I think that the bully pulpit can be useful. When Joe Biden did that fake, I want $15 minimum wage, which he was never for, and it didn't pass, he could have took Air Force One, flew to all the 8 states of the 8 Democrats that voted against it and said, hey, they just voted against you getting $15. Get them out of office. Even if they're...
Oh, sorry.
Yo, you go right ahead.
They rely on people like Manchin to...
They do.
They say things to make themselves look good, but they know that they're going to keep it from happening.
Yeah.
And we need those kind of people. So
they exactly.
And like Cornel says, Biden's a milquetoast, and he's actually worse, but he is a milquetoast.
You better not say that too loud. Oh, you're saying he's worse than Trump. Trump wants fascism. We're living in fascism. I hate to tell people this. We're in fascism right now. Not if Trump gets elected. Right now. Right now. We're in fascism right now.
So you either have somebody telling you what's going to happen. They tell you who they are, or you're going to have somebody lie to your face, vote for them, and find out that they actually...
Or continue their policies. Yeah. Like we're not supposed to know you continue the children in cages policy. Oh, let me shut up. Let me shut up. I see. This mouth is why I can't run for office. Because I don't care.
It would be refreshing, actually, to have truth tellers.
I think I would literally tell some people to kiss my behind is what I would be telling people. And you can't really do that. You can't really do that. Not the way I want to.
Why not?
Now, Jesse says, I campaigned for Obama in 2008 and 2012, Jill Stein in 2016, and for my pops who ran for state senate in 2020, along with several city council local races in Denver, and ran the office twice. And ran for... I didn't know you ran for office. Good for you.
Wow.
Dismantled the empire. You mean the ones our founders enslaved? Yes, that's the one I'm talking about.
No, the empire. We our empirical policies. How we are an empire as far as our military being all around the world and basically controlling.
Yep.
People.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. But money is for... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of going through all these because there's like a lot of them. I didn't realize there were so many. But money is freedom. Yeah, I don't agree with it. Because if you don't have it, does that mean you have no freedom?
The thing is, it doesn't have to be obscene. It doesn't have to be so much. How many people need billions and billions of dollars?
Me.
I mean, what can you do with the billions of dollars?
I could build a house. I could build people houses.
Absolutely, but they don't.
Yeah, that's true. They gather, they hoard it. You're right. That's true. Okay.
What did they say about the coup in Chile?
The coup in Chile was in the 1970s. I couldn't remember whether it was 72, 73, or 74. Or 75. I thought it was after I was born.
We backed a dictator, Pinochet, who killed people, disappeared people. We didn't care because we wanted our industry to get in there. We wanted.
Yep, exactly. White people apologize. Yes.
Yes.
The United States has been in war for 221 years out of its 240. If there isn't a more truer statement that has been made today, that is it. We've only existed 247 years, and we've been at war 80% of the time.
That's why there's a weapons industry, and the weapons industry has a big lobby.
They can't win because the powers that be have rigged the election in favor of the two-party major parties. They have.
It's true, but we can win if everybody stands up and votes.
Okay, I'm just kind of going through these. No working class has ever been a bloc, especially across racial lines. That needs to change, I agree. Bernie Sanders was again. Yeah, Jesse, this is where I started to lose Bernie because I was like, you know what? Nah, bruh, nah. What you not gonna do is do that. Let's get a study. We we don't need to have a study to say that our people, and I'm talking about reparations for the descendants of Africans. I'm not talking about the Latino community. I'm not talking about the Jewish community. I'm talking about one community. I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm only talking about reparations of descendants of enslaved Africans. He was against it. And I swallowed and voted for him anyway. And I can't stand that I did it because that's one of my issues. It's like, if you're not for it, you're not getting my vote, period. And I broke my vote.
Because you're for healthcare. Because you're for healthcare as well, and you wanted to get.
I damn, but now if you're not for reparation, no, won't vote for you. Don't care. Ain't gonna happen. Um, Jesse Stanley isn't white. I don't know what that actually means. No, actual, we were living. Okay. Yes, we are living in fascism. We absolutely are living in fascism. Period. Point blank. Um,
Yeah.
and Jesse agrees. We are living in a de facto fascism and de facto slavery. Exactly. So, well, you'll get fascism under Trump. I'm like, we got it now. What are you talking about? The military controls literally everything around the world. The U.S. spends a darn $1 trillion in defense. A trillion. You know how many houses you could build? Like how many houses you could rehab? I tell you this, it's not going to take $1 trillion. It may not even take $100 million.
You could solve poverty around the world. You could make it so there wasn't any war because of it. Because
Yeah, it's oh my goodness. The money thing was a joke. However, money affords lawyers justice and good defense. You need money to run campaigns. We don't have publicly financed elections.
You know what? Good lawyers are activist lawyers.
They are, but they still need to eat, and they still have expenses, and they still we need money to do that. They don't work for free, even if they wanted to, because who wants a free lawyer? They're not gonna really try. But
part of the campaign.
Yeah, they're part of the campaign, but
that could be their donation. Come out there and donate your services, whatever your skill is. Donate.
But we want to encourage people to donate to the campaign because we haven't found that lawyer yet that's willing to work as part of the campaign. So we want you to drop those nickels and dimes and $5 and $6 at CornelWest2024.com. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I protest against Bernie Sanders after he said that, and I wasn't in favor of him. Tangible or no vote. Okay, I've seen this hashtag, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree with this. I know people that are for this specifically. I think it's coming from just the reparations argument that if you don't promise reparations, we're just not going to vote. And my only argument against this is they don't want you to vote. Period. The two-party system does not want you to vote. One, they sit and make it extremely hard for you to vote. If non-voters started to come to the election and started voting, you would see some scared politicians. They don't want you to vote. And you need to say, hey, if you don't give me reparations or Medicare for all or $27 minimum, I'm going to vote for the other guy. An independent, not the Republicans, because they're not going to give it either. That's what you need to be doing, is saying, hey, you don't give me something tangible, I'm going to vote independent. That's what we need to do. I don't know how to hashtag it, but I know that's what we need to do.
And also on the platform, under racial justice, he says reparations to address the unpaid debt to Black U.S. residents. That's number one.
Yes. Do anybody know what Joe Biden's reparations policy is? He said, i.e., as long as it's for Native Americans. Now, I have no problem with the indigenous community. This was their country first, period, point blank. But you're not going to just put me aside like, oh, well, you're going to vote for me anyway. I don't like that. I don't like that kind of stance because what he's actually doing is he's dividing people.
Divide and conquer. That's true.
Yep. No, we do not live under fascism, Stanley. I still disagree with you, but maybe you mean rhetorical. No, I mean actual. I mean actual fascism. And I would say, just look at the definition, of fascism and tell me that we're not living in it right now. We really are.
Oh, sorry, go.
No, you go right.
We supposedly have a vote that counts.
But supposedly.
You have people, two parties, two clubs deciding who gets to vote, who gets to run, who gets, they're rigging the entire system. So we really have to fight to be able to
right. And there's places, here's another example of fascism that's going on in the United States. In some states, voting locations were closed, and now they have to go further out to vote than they are. Unless you're really, 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 really determined, you're probably gonna just stay at home. You don't get time off of work to go vote.
When people were in Louisville, when they kept closing the station, the voting stations right in Louisville, you know.
Yeah, and I mean they've now the one thing our city does right, and I will give our city one credit for one thing and one thing only. I can vote at any location in the city of Indianapolis. I don't have to go to designated this place. I can go clear across town. I can go 20 miles south, 20 miles east, 20 miles west, and I can still vote. All I need is my zip code, and they'll give me the ballot for who I'm voting for in my district. That's the only thing that's the only thing our state gets right, is that we allow that. Literally, you can live in the state of Indiana and vote in any other city, and they'll just give you that's the great thing. But if you live in like Louisville, places in Georgia, that's fascism when you close a voting location because now you're making it harder for people to vote. That's the very definition.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how long they have people stand in line to vote.
8 hours in Georgia. I believe in voting, but I don't think I'm going to stand in line 8 hours and vote. I think didn't they make it illegal to give people like water?
Yes. You could not give them water. You could not. That was crazy. Yeah.
No, I think that's still on the books. It's like, y'all for real with this? Oh, wait a minute. I'm skipped the comment. Yeah, I hear that, Tracy. I've been voting independent since 2012 to 2023. I wish I could say the same thing. I really wish I could. I can't. But politics is quid pro quo. If you give me politics is quid pro quo. If I give you my vote, I want something tangible in return for my vote. Just basics. But I get it. I still say, tell them that you're gonna vote for the independent. That's what I say. That's how you really scare them. Mm-hmm. Stanley says that this is why we're not living under fascism, which again I still disagree. But read Jason Stanley, Hannah, or I don't know what that is, but I'll look it up. I agree every state is not like Indiana, but at least if you did that, at least if you said, hey, we're going to get rid of these polling sites, but you can go anywhere and vote. You can go here, 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 and your vote will still count. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be ideal because we definitely don't live in a perfect state. We definitely do not.
In Washington, we vote by mail. We don't even go out.
That's what I wish we would do. Just put the ballot in the mail, let me return it, and then just go.
Yeah.
But we can't do that because apparently you get more fraud.
I don't think so. I've
No,
been
I was being sarcastic.
over and over.
No, yeah, that's me being sarcastic. I'm like,
Oh,
really?
I think they've proven that that's not the case. But they try to put that fear into people.
Yeah,
They
you can
want
only
they want to make voting inconvenient.
difficult.
Yeah.
Just difficult. You don't get the day off.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get time off of work because they're not going to give it to you. Even though in some states you're supposed to get time off from work to vote. They
Mm-hmm.
don't. Who's going to sue them because you didn't give me my time? No, they're not going to do that. Colorado makes it very easy to vote, but yet other states it's not consistent. Not voting is not the definition of fascism. It's not the definition, but it's a great example. Um, and reread this one. No vote. No, that's not the one. We do not live under fascism. At least no. Oh, not every state is like Indiana. They're not.
Well,
Um,
uh,
yeah, Colorado does mail in person voting all the way up to and on the day of elections. Same day registration, we don't do. I'm like, let people register the same day they vote. Nope, can't do
okay.
it. And I'm definitely for that. I'm definitely for it. You show up, you say, hey, I'm not registered. They register you, you go over there, you vote. Boom, bam, you done.
Yeah.
The Constitution makes voting a state controlled process. Yeah, and that's the problem. There's no conformity. Every state has its own, just like the ballot access, which is what we talked about in the meeting. Like every state, Indiana, you got to get like 47,000 signatures to be on the ballot. They throw out 80%, so really you got to get twice whatever they say because they're gonna throw out some just to be petty.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, um, it should be across the board the same rules.
exactly. Some states, if you pay a fee, you're on the ballot, which is what I'm for. I'm like, you know what? Set the fee. They pay it. They're on the ballot. That's it. And and make the Democrats and Republicans do it too.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to collect signatures. They literally don't have to collect signatures to get on the ballot. They're just on the ballot. Well, how come a third party candidate has to collect signatures? Why can't they just be on the ballot? We know why. We know why. Um, Lastly, I want to talk about if you could say anything to to a person that's on the fence about supporting Dr. West, what would you say to them?
I would say, what has the Democratic Party really done for you and the people around you? Is life better for you and the people around you? Do you like the direction we're going? Do you look at what we're doing in by supporting Israel's mass murder? Do you like that? I mean, what was the question again?
What would you tell somebody that's on the fence about supporting Dr. West?
Doctor look at his platform. Um, Look at what he's always done. Look back at interviews. Read Democracy Matters. Um, his poverty tour. He has been an activist and always there for people who are more vulnerable in our country and around the world. I mean, do you we need change now. I mean, we need like environmental justice. We need to address climate crisis. The climate crisis. We are all, not going to have a planet to live on. We need health care for people. We need so many things. Living wage, housing, just dignity for everyone. If you care about any of those things, there's only one person to vote for, and that is Dr. West.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I did not mean to keep you 1 hour and 45 seconds.
Really? Is that how long we've
1
been
hour 45 minutes. We have been on here. Look, and I'm looking for, and I want to say this, I am looking for more people who are in support of Dr. West to appear on this program. You see how easy I made it for Robin? She was all terrified, and I just made the whole the whole thing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this easy. So definitely, if you are a supporter of Dr. West, please, I'm begging you, email me at Tracy TRACYMEDIALLC@gmail.com and say that you want to appear. We normally film on the third Saturday, but I had a passing in my family, so I had to move this one to that one. That means I'm going to be doing another one in December, and I don't have a December guest yet.
There are some great voices on Women for Cornel West.
Yes, I've already put it there. So I will be doing that again, just to get more guests. But like I said, I want to thank everybody. These are the most comments that I've ever seen. We even appreciate Lori Parks, who decided she didn't want to. Yes, there are, but local guests, I don't. This show is podcasted out on YouTube and Twitch, so I'm looking for more people from other places, but I will be using locals in a specific way, which I won't talk about until a little bit later, because I have something specific in mind to do. So if you want to be interviewed by me and just discuss why you support Dr. West, I think it's a great thing. Remember to share this. Share this video. Please share it. It does not go on my website, so you won't see it there. So remember to like this video, share this video, comment. You can subscribe. And most of all, for this podcast and this podcast only, I want to remind you to visit CornelWest2024.com to learn how to donate, volunteer, read the platform. If you do nothing else, read the platform. And if you could drop the campaign $5 to $10, that would be great. Thank you.
Be informed.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Robin, for agreeing to do this. Thank you, everybody. That the comments again, they were just a lot of them, and which I appreciate.
That was nice.
I was gonna do a Saturday video, but I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow when I have more time, because this one took just a tad longer than I thought, and I'm just like, okay, this wore me out, but that's okay. I'll be fine. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We'll see you hopefully the third Saturday in December, which I believe that's Christmas week. We may have to push it. That is the 17th. So, no, we won't be hitting the holidays. We'll see you all December the 17th for another episode of Congratulations to the 47th President of the United States, Dr. Cornel West. Have a fantastic day.